68-9, that's what we have so far. The number of senators voting for and against, respectively. The Obama Republican tax cut compromise, tax rate compromise, more to the point, extending all the Bush rates, including those on the upper income, for at least the next 2 years. That vote against 68-9. Not everyone's all in here, but we do know that this was pretty much as expected. The president's going to have a statement on this in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the hour. In the meantime, reaction now from Republican Congressman Paul Ryan, because remember now it moves on to the House. He will be a very influential person there, already is, but come next year, a really influential person. He will be the chairman of the very powerful House Budget Committee. Congressman, what do you make of that early vote thus far? Remember, ways to go.
It's a good start. I think this is a foreshadowing of things to come. I was on one of your shows on this network yesterday where Chris Van Hollen, key Democrat, was saying, we're going to let Congress work its will. That's another way of saying we'll let this thing come up to a vote in the House. And they may want to have a vote to have a higher estate tax level than what is in this compromise, just so they can vote for that. But the reading I'm getting, and I don't know this for sure from Democrats, is that they'll let this come up for a vote. And having this kind of a vote count over in the Senate is very helpful to making sure we get the votes we need. We're going to need, I don't know, 40 or so Democrats to vote for this in the House. This helps us get that.
You know, I talked to Tea Parties, including one very vocal one earlier in this broadcast, Congressman, not at all pleased about what you guys had to get this. Not you in particular, because it hasn't gotten to the House yet, but Republicans in general, that you're swallowing a lot of junk that you normally wouldn't have to.
There's junk I don't like in this, no two ways about it. But I also don't like a massive tax increase on January the 1st. I do like making sure that we don't have these tax rates going up in the next 2 years. I do not think this is stimulative. I do not think temporary extension of these tax rates is particularly stimulative, because it still produces uncertainty. But as the counter to that, huge tax rates in just a few weeks, this is much better than that. So yeah, I don't like not paying for UI extension. I don't like all these rebates, which we've proven over and over again do not work. And there's a lot of tax pork, which is in the current tax code that's being extended, that I don't like. I never voted for this stuff in the first place.
Right.
But I want these tax rates. We did not decouple. You do not see class warfare economics being played here. And you see that we're getting 2 more years on these tax rates. So this thing's not perfect.
But the estate tax will go up, right? I mean, maybe as high as 35%. And there are many who fear it could go still higher to placate leery Democrats in the House. What do you think ultimately will be the estate tax? As written here, 35%?
I think it will be the John Kyle deal. This is the John Kyle, Kevin Brady deal, which is 35% on $5 million. That's better than 55%.
If it goes higher than 35%, Congressman, would you just say that's it?
We have an agreement with the President of the United States. If the President himself is going to walk away from this agreement because his fellow liberal progressives in the House are upset with that, what does that speak to our ability to get agreements with him in the future? I mean, if he walks away from this, holding on to this agreement, then why would we have confidence in getting agreement with him in the next 2 years? It would make the divided government we're going into extremely bumpy, extremely volatile. So I think he's going to stick with this agreement. I think we're going to get this thing through. Look, I don't think we should have an estate tax in the first place. It's a double tax on death. It's a tax on capital. So for a guy like me to vote for policy like this that I don't like to begin with, pushing it higher is just a no deal for people like me.
Well, then does that mean, sir, does that mean that you would look in the new Congress to get rid of it again, lower it again? Because Democrats could look at that Congress and say, gee, these guys don't even agree to what's written on paper. They try to change it.
Look, I believe in fundamental tax reform. I've been advancing tax reform ever since I got in Congress. In my bills, you tax income once at its source. You don't have double taxation on capital, let alone triple taxation on capital, which the estate tax and sometimes can represent. So look, I want to get to tax reform ultimately. And so, yeah, we're going to be advancing ideas like that. So in our worldview, you won't have all these multiple layers of taxation, and we'll actually have good economic growth in this country.
All right. Do you take the president at his word that he is changing his views, that he is moderating, that he is Clintonizing?
No, I still think he's a class warrior. He went to calling us enemies to now calling us hostage takers, so he still uses similar rhetoric. He is now telling us at his last press conference he's going to go after us on class warfare, on making sure that these rates do not get extended in 2012. So I don't think he's changing his ideology or his tune, but he's recognizing just the new reality, and he's going to compromise here and there. That's going to be the exception, not the rule, triangulation. And I think that that's what this is a product of.
Congressman, always a pleasure. Congratulations again on,
Thank you, Neil,
on your victory and where you're going to be going and what you're going to be doing in just a few weeks. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.